Hello and welcome back to What Sam Said, All Itching Ain't Bad. In her book, A Leader in the Making, Joyce Meyer said she was told you can choose to be pitiful or you can choose to be powerful, but not both. As leaders, we have to make the decision on how we're going to lead and the way that we're going to lead. For those who may not have noticed yet, there is no arrival, no point in time that we can forfeit personal growth and development. Even in retirement, there's always something new to learn. I believe it was Brother Joshua Selman who said, "Favor is when your preparation meets your opportunity." Another quote that I found in my journal, but there was no author listed, shared, "When preparation and opportunity meet, there is advancement." Again, when preparation and opportunity meet, there is advancement. Some things are taught while other practices along the way in our journey are caught. Again, some things are taught while other practices are caught through relationships with others who have been through what you are running to. Again, some things are taught, other things are caught through relationships with others who have been through what you're going through. See, you cannot see on the inside of a champion. You can gain some insight from what you see on the outside, but the true person lies within. There's a reason some leaders were able to stand, encounter challenges, and having done all to stand, to withstand. Now, one of the definitions of withstand that I found through a Google search said to remain undamaged or unaffected or to resist. Again, to remain undamaged or unaffected by the circumstance, the trial, the situation, but to resist. As a leader, you will have opposition and you will have haters. I remember sharing some of the more challenging leadership moments I had as an assistant principal and as a new principal recently with a group of prospective leaders. I thought back on some of the tests I failed and had to take again and again in some instances. I found there to be areas where I still needed to grow and to change, and I still have a few today. Word of wisdom: just because you may have the potential to lead does not mean that you are guaranteed to be successful. Again, just because one may have the potential to lead does not guarantee its true success. Sometimes we have to look on the inside of us and the change will start there. First lesson, learn to listen. I remember a social media post that said, sometimes before you can be made, you have to be broken. Again, sometimes before you can be made, you have to be broken. Another post said, when you fall hard enough to not repeat the lesson, but soft enough so that you will recognize it when it comes again. I shared in my first book, A Promise Kept, of the instance when my grandmother kept telling me, "Didn't I tell you, Wayne, to stop picking at that scab? Every time you remove it, you're going to have to start over again." And I would follow up with this classic comment, "But it keeps itching, it keeps itching." She said, "All itching ain't bad." It is the same in life and business. Leave the scabs alone. We repeat experiences only to have to come back to them again because we didn't learn the first time. John Maxwell said in his book, 5 Levels of Leadership, that a leadership position is usually given to people because they have leadership potential. Again, a leadership position is usually given to people because they have leadership potential. But being assigned the position is not a guarantee of your success. We've used the word potential several times, so I thought I would provide a definition for it. It's having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. When an opportunity comes, you have to ask yourself, how have I trained for this? What preparation have I been through? What areas of my life have been strengthened through various trials and opportunities that have prepared me for this moment? I don't have to come up with an answer when a question is asked. I have the answer. What books have I read? What courses have I taken that have set me apart? What additional certifications have I received? What have I given up during my time of preparation in order to gain what I need? What rough edges on my leadership style have been made smooth? What prior barriers that were hindrances to me moving have been removed? I'm sure you can think of your own. If I had to think of a term that best describes this type of preparation, I would have to call it the sandpaper effect. Let me explain. We're all familiar with the product. a piece of coarse paper with a rough surface on one side and a smoother surface on the other side. It serves as a dual-purpose training instrument. The key to growth and development is to know which side to use and when. In A Leader in the Making, Joyce Meyer said that anyone who is anointed for leadership has to get around a few Sauls somewhere in their lives, because she said it's the Sauls in our lives that are used to get the Sauls out of us. These Sauls, in my opinion, serve as a type of sandpaper to assist in smoothing out or off our rough edges. And yes, we all have some. Sandpaper can be used to remove materials from surfaces, either to make them smoother, for example in painting and wood finishing, or to remove a layer of material such as old paint, or sometimes to make the surface rougher when you're trying to adhere some type of glue or adhesive. My question for you as a leader: what rough edges do you need smooth? What old pain or prior experiences still shapes how you define your leadership style? You still mad from the last time, but the lesson keeps repeating itself. The scab continues to grow back in preparation for healing. Is the challenge learning how to communicate in a positive manner? Is it learning to be silent sometimes and not always having to voice your opinion? Is it humbling yourself now so you can be elevated later? Who are the people who've been placed in your lives as your Saul that you just refuse to work with or even listen to? You keep having the same experience over and over again because you cannot pass that test that will ultimately lead to your elevation. Leave the scab alone. Let it go. That layer of distrust from prior experiences with your supervisor or your manager, you being overconfident in an area that it clouds your judgment sometimes. You got to always be right. It is not about you. It is about the people that you serve and the people that you work with. Or maybe your particular challenge is on the other end of the spectrum. People are always taking your kindness for weakness, or you too smooth in some areas of your leadership and you need a Saul to kind of make your surface a little rougher. Or just maybe you need to balance firmness with kindness. Well, they don't like me. Well, maybe you're unlikable and you need to allow some of the Sauls who've been placed around you to help you. And I've heard this so many other times. It is not always someone else's fault. We are where we are because of the choices we made. Some good, some not so good, and some we would not rather discuss. I was speaking with Dr. Delphia Young, and she shared that leadership involves being bold, being deferent, being respectful, but it does not involve being fearful. Again, leadership involves being bold, being deferent, being respectful, but it does not involve being fearful. Now, there will be some moments when we are scared, but we're human, but move in faith anyway towards your goal. I remember reading in preparation for this message that being scared is a temporary moment. Someone jumps out and goes boo, and you startle for a moment, but you get yourself back together once the moment is over. However, when fear affects you longer than the moment, and when the moment has passed, it still affects you if it is not addressed. You cannot focus on your problem and your solution at the same time. You either move forward or you stay where you are. And I say it's time to move. Remember what Joyce Meyer said. You can choose to be pitiful or you can choose to be powerful, but not both. Thank you for sharing with me on this episode of What Sam Said. Please go online and order a copy of my book, Preparation for Leadership. Always bring an extra pair of shoes. I look forward to joining you again soon. Have a great day, leaders.